We're going to record it here. Okay, I wanted to try and wrap up the detail tonight, and and make this the final go at this. George, it looks like you've been working on your detail here.
Yeah, I think I got it good enough to give it a go. I'm sure parts of it will have to be ironed out yet, but I had a couple shots of doing that coming up over the weekend, so see how it goes.
All right. Well, I want to tell you, I have been, since our last call, I have talked with each of the region captains, and they are in agreement that, and I hope everyone else is in agreement on this too, that we will, in fact, not include the region captains in the training program from the standpoint that they are responsible for the training. So the training will be conducted by the support staff, the people that are assigned to each module right now. And the region captain then, of course, will be responsible to monitor his or her district captain trainees that are in the program. And I think on certain modules, I think George, like module 1, I think maybe, well, all of you can look at your modules and see where it might be appropriate to engage the region captain along with the trainee. Engage that region captain in some way or another in that module, just to get the region captain's input and just to kind of keep the region captain involved, but like I said, the region captain will not be responsible for conducting the training. Any questions on that?
No, makes sense to me. It's cool. I got a quick question on something, and can you scroll down towards the bottom of Module 1? Get the COS University part.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there it is. The introduction to COSU. In my research on that today, you need to be logged into the website, conventionofstates.com, in order to go in there and view classes and stuff. But we don't go over logging into the website and setting up an account until Module 2. So you think I should move the COS University stuff to like Module 4?
That was I had that on my notes here. When and where and how are we going to incorporate Convention of States University?
We're not really going to. I guess it hasn't been discussed, but are we going to require them to like maybe at least take one of the basic courses? And if we do that, I don't think we should make it a part of requirement for training, but it should be something that they need to do. We don't want to boggle up training any more than it is.
Right, right. I'll tell you, George. I think my initial reaction here is to leave it where you've got it. You don't have to get them to sign on to it. Just make them aware that it's there, and that when they complete their training, that they we would encourage them to utilize COS University.
Okay. Yeah, it's part of a continuing education kind of thing.
Right, right.
All right.
Does everyone agree with that?
Yes, I do.
Sure. Okay.
Yes.
I think
All right.
that makes sense, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else on Module 1, George?
No, I got a little bit of research to do on the organizational chart.
Yeah.
I looked at it. I think kind of sucks.
Why?
Well, nobody's identified in it, and I couldn't follow it very much. You know, I was looking at it, and I couldn't see how things were linked up or whatever. You know, like I had no work. You know, just the way the organization is laid out and the way that the chart reads, I couldn't really make heads or tails of it.
Okay.
You did that, didn't you? I don't mean to be critical, but I couldn't make heads or tails out of it. I struggled a long time trying to come up with an organizational chart to show everything. And when Rachel and I were putting this program together initially, I told her what I would like to see, what I was trying to create, and I'll be damned if she didn't. In 30 minutes, she had one created. And this was it. I'm probably going to screw up.
I think it makes sense.
Alt-Enter will take you there, too. So, okay.
Do what?
Alt-Enter will take you to a link.
All right. There's the chart in case, for those of you that maybe haven't seen it. Now, correct, there's no names on here. I wanted to get a chart. I wanted to get the whole thing on one page. Okay. So, and I wanted to reflect that the support group. Now, if there was anything maybe that needed to be added here, there's maybe some arrows from the support group here, but they're all green. So the point here was that the support group was supporting operations. So we got operations and support. And the operations side includes the region captains and district captains and their respective teams. And then on the support side, of course, right now, we only have these positions right now. Once we add more of the support positions, then we'll have to expand this some way or another.
So what about one reporting to another? Like, does the support team report back to you, or?
Yeah.
Is there any of that?
That's what this arrow here is for.
Okay.
So basically, the support team reports to me, and operation reports to me. Now we could maybe change Paul's position here, but that's basically the way it started out, at least.
I think what's confusing is that you have arrows on those lines.
Arrow.
You have arrows are on the end of these lines.
Yeah.
So that's where I think it's confusing. As George said, it doesn't show the feedback loop between support coming back to the state director.
Oh.
It just shows being one way from the state director to the support team.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's true. I don't want any feedback on anything. Just do everything I say.
That's freedom ring.
Yeah. So maybe
how could you get a good night's sleep if you can't? You have to answer questions. Huh?
Yeah. If we formatted the lines to take the arrows off, that might make it a little more clear. And I mean, org charts usually don't have arrows.
That's a piece of cake, Dale.
All right, Chris.
I actually recreated this from what Rachel came up with.
Okay. Are you taking all this in?
Yeah. So you really need, and I'll probably need to lean on you for, to make sure I cover everything. Like operations should probably be in link with region captains and that whole hierarchy there.
Yeah.
There wasn't an arrow there, so I didn't put one in there. But
okay. All right.
But I can change those to just lines.
Okay.
Instead of arrows.
Okay, would that help? Would that help if we just had lines instead of arrows?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't make an implication that everything's one way.
All right, all right.
But George, if you don't think that's going to clarify things the way you want, I think now's the time to discuss it further.
Yeah. The color coding helps a lot. I just didn't understand it well enough to be able to explain it to a trainee. So I know how we're set up, and I was just having a hard time relating what we do in practice with what the chart said. So.
And you don't think this chart represents that?
I think part of it was it isn't what I was expecting when I looked at it, and it made me twist my head.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I can work with this.
Okay. The reason why we included this organizational chart is that this is different than what you would see in the training manual.
For national, you mean?
Yeah. The way national had the states organized was quite a bit different than this. And so we felt it was necessary to reflect our own organizational chart in the training program. Now, you know, we're not emphasizing the training manual like we did before. So, you know, I wouldn't dwell too much on this.
Okay, yeah, I'll just to get the idea across that, you know, how the support structure is set up as far as, you know, relating it mainly to district captains. That bringing up the manual reminds me of another question I had. You know how nationals, all their different manuals had a sign-off page in the back?
Yeah.
Are they still requiring that? Because I couldn't find one.
No.
Okay.
We're going under this assumption that they're no longer requiring it, so
okay.
Don't worry about it.
Good. All right, I'm done.
Okay. Let me get this outline back up
If
here.
I can throw in my can I throw in my 2 cents on this org chart?
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that because of the idea that the support staff, as I understand it, support is to support operations, it would make sense to put the red group in the middle and have this half of the support kind of on either side that pours into operations to support that, and that it's not, you know, it's not just from the region captain down, but really they support district captains as well as region captains. If that makes any sense.
To show how the support group supports all the different layers of operations?
Yeah, I mean, Chris can probably figure out a way to present that, but just kind of that idea that support, it's not on one side and operations the other side, but they're really kind of intertwined in terms of working with each other, working together to accomplish our goals.
Well, okay. Did you get that, Chris?
Yeah, I think I can. Well,
Chris,
there's a lot of give and take, you know, from a support standpoint. We don't want to have too many lines going back and forth to, you know, to too many places to it be even more confusing. But I see what you're saying. We definitely want to link up who's, you know, who the support staff is taking care of, and so that can probably be redone, you know, to make that clearer, if that makes sense.
Well, just come up with some ideas, Chris, and we'll see what looks best.
Okay, I'll probably send you an email, Dale, and get an idea of the, you know, the relationships first, and then we can go from there.
All righty. Okay. Okay. Now, question I had, and George, I think you're already doing this. How are you contacting the trainees to tell them what modules they're in, or are you just doing phone calls, or?
Yeah. I think as far as the training tracking sheet goes, that other spreadsheet, yeah, that one, that's open to everybody. And when they do schedule somebody, go ahead and put their information, their scheduled time and date in there. The top line for an individual is when put the time that they're scheduled in, and we'll put the complete date and time after that, when they get it done. But
you're talking about the individual leading that module input that information, right?
Yeah, yeah. And when I see that they're done, I'll get with the trainee and let them know that they're completed, and and I'll give the trainer for the next module a nudge and say, hey, this person's ready. And then, like Paul can get hold of the John Arms and coordinate with him. And when they get a time and date set up, Paul can fill it in here on the chart.
All right, all right.
And then I'll monitor the thing overall. And feel free to make plenty of notes. I left plenty of room there for notes. I got to dress that up a little bit down. I added some lines and didn't clean it up there at the bottom. Oh, all right.
Does everybody have this link?
Yes.
It's in Slack.
Speaking for me, anyway.
Okay.
I'm not everybody.
Who should have the link?
The region captains and the support people that are doing the training.
Okay, so George, has that been sent to is that somewhere where I would get it?
Yeah, it's in Slack. I don't remember why I put it in Slack though.
See, I'm not sure. I know you sent it to me, George. I don't know if you sent it to everybody else, did you? I don't want to put this on the general channel. I don't want everybody.
Yeah. Well, we got a channel where that is strictly the trainers, all of us. Is there a channel in Slack for that?
We do have a training channel, but
there's one that had like you, Rachel, and
there's a national training channel.
There's a what?
There's a national training channel.
Yeah, there's 39 members in this channel, so that's got everybody on. That's probably national to put that on there.
Well, yeah, we can do a channel, and we'll just call it trainees or something, or training schedule or something.
Okay. Are you going to set that up then?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Now, another way, of course, would be to just send the people that need to know this a link and let them open it and bookmark it.
Okay. Well, all right. Yeah. Well, that's why we were going to do the channel, I guess, was keep it in one place that we can all access without having to rely on that. So.
All right. All right. Okay. All right. Well, I really like this report. It looks really good. You did a really good job on it, George.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay. Let me get back to
Green for go.
the outline here. Chris, something came up the other day that I thought maybe we should consider adding to your module, and that's the help desk. How to access it and when to access it.
That's a good idea. Anything like that kind of dovetails with a little bit in part of what I was saying about giving people all the tools that they have at their disposal to get their own support, as much as possible too.
Right.
Not that we want to push them off, but the more resources they have, that's a great idea.
So where would you include that?
You know, that George and I were talking. We had a nice conversation last night, and excuse me. I think I caught his cold. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that.
Excuse me. I was looking at actually splitting these up into, because, you know, trying to get too much information, as we were, you know, talking about last week, to somebody can be kind of tough to get them to digest everything. So I was thinking about putting the free conference call and Slack together, and then putting the Citizen Builder District Dashboard and SIA stuff in another session to make it kind of easier on them, and that would give them the tools up front to communicate. But if we did the help desk as well in that first part, that would kind of round that out, you know.
Okay.
And then I guess the second session, we would address any you know, lingering questions that might come up from free conference call and Slack and the help desk, and move right into the Citizen Builder District Dashboard and everything, and cover all that in detail.
And you were thinking about doing this in 2 sessions?
Yeah. Especially, I mean, it was kind of a question about that, because with just the 2 of them, but if we had the help desk as well, then I think that's going to round out a session in itself with those 3.
I guess. Well, then we got to know. Has each individual done session 1 and 2, or just session 1? Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, you mean as far as tracking them?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't.
Can we just label them part 1, part 2, something?
Yeah, I don't think we'd have maybe have a problem doing that.
Is that something you can incorporate, George, in the tracking sheet?
Yeah. Chris and I also talked about like a checkbox kind of thing. Like, you know, for each module, just having a like we have in the outline, you know, specific items that are going to be covered, and then having a sheet that's just check boxes, so as they progress through even a module, like even in module 1, I'm kind of doing that in 2 sessions also, kind of. Yeah, so a person will get a checkbox for download of the handbook, just got the free conference call link, was invited to Slack, you know, just little landmark pieces like that.
I mean, I think that's fine for you as the trainer to keep track of what the trainee has covered and what he or she hasn't covered.
Yeah.
I just I don't see that I think that would be too much to incorporate in this tracking tool.
Yeah, it'd be like in another section down below it or whatever. But yeah, I don't want to make this real cumbersome either. I just want this.
Right.
This person's done and he's ready for this next person. And this is when they're scheduled to do it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's just, for right now, let's just, you know, if you need to do 2 sessions, then do 2 sessions, and so the person hasn't completed the module until both sessions are completed.
Right. Some responsibility on the trainer then to keep track of that as far as where a person has progressed in their module too then, right?
So you're thinking of 2 sessions in module 1 and 2 sessions in module 2?
Yeah, well, Chris is going to want to do 2, and module 1 is, I call him up the first time and we get him set up in a free conference call. Then we do kind of like a mock call to make sure it's working for him okay. And at that time, I actually schedule him for the rest of module 1.
Okay, so you're okay.
I had a thought on the spreadsheet for the tracking that might make this a little bit simpler. As far as viewing, it'll be just take a little bit up front, but off the viewing port, over on the columns that are to the right of N, as you can see on your window, is to put some boxes in there with labeled with X's for the things you were talking about, George. Like, they've downloaded the guides and the videos and just whatever else you want to put in there. And as you click those, put an X in there, we can have that as soon as that last X is done, it would automatically mark Module 1 as complete for that user. So, and it would be pretty much sight unseen for everybody that's actually looking at this. In other words, this would not change. The Module 1 through Module 6 that you see right here will remain the same. But out of the viewing part, you can manage, just put an X in there, and once you get the last X in for whatever you decide to put together, it'll mark that as done. And we can even have it.
Where would that information be?
Just over to the side of the spreadsheet, out of where you're not seeing it.
Oh.
You can even hide it. And the thing is that if you put it over there and like start in AA, column AA or something, then you can label these things, make them as wide as you want or whatever. It's not going to interfere, and you can even hide them.
Yeah.
And so I think George knows how to.
That would be helpful, I guess. But you could have. It's possible. Well, like Chris, you've got. You're planning on having 4 individuals go through Module 2 at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Working on it. Yeah.
Now, are you wanting to track this information per individual?
Oh yeah, it'll. Once you make one of these in the top row, the first user, you just copy it down, and it applies to everybody.
Okay. Go ahead and do that, and show me when you got it set up. I don't know if I even want to have access to it, but I guess
it'd be like a horizontal list of items, and then
right.
Vertically it would be the individuals as they complete it.
Right.
Thanks, Kim.
Right. Okay. All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, Kim. Bye. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's it's not really a big deal to do that. So, and then, like I said, we can just hide those columns, so nobody will be bothered by them. So.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's get back to the outline then. Chris, you seem to be set. Then, Paul, are you set?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And you're gonna have contact with each person now, right?
Yes, sir. Starting with Vicky on Tuesday, we've got a call scheduled.
Cool, cool. Okay, George and Gary, you guys set for the grassroots then?
Yeah, my end of it didn't change much from what it was. Added Gary's video on there.
Yeah, I don't know there's really a reason to have my name on that because, I made that video, but George, I think, is really doing all of that training.
Now, okay, that's a question then, George. Do you need Gary involved in the module, or do you just want to show them the...
Well, if they have any questions about the video, I'd like to be able to tag them over to Gary, but, he doesn't need to be, listed in the module to do that, so I guess.
All right. So you don't think it's necessary for Gary to be on every presentation of the module that you do?
Not personally, no.
Okay, all right. And
otherwise, we'd have to do it for everybody.
Right. So we can take Gary.
No, he did do it for each of the region captains. So yeah, you can just take Gary off.
On module 4, you can change that to just George Ward.
Right.
Okay. All right. See, does I have anything? Okay, Ken, did you make it on tonight? Where is Ken? Ha. Well, I wanted.
He's not in the list of those signed in here, Dale.
What?
He's not in the attendee list, so he's not.
No, he's not. I'll tell you. I thought, you know, no one should have anything else to do on a Friday night, but
Ken's probably the only one of us who has a life if he can't make it.
you know, it could be. It could be. I wanted him to talk about the email program. Anyway, okay, I'll talk to him about that. Okay, then I got my wrap up, and I'll be then contacting them individually when they get to my module.
Hey, Dale, George and I were talking about, and I don't know if this applies to just looking at the sheet. It made me think of it actually after we hung up from our call, but asking the trainees, you know, for feedback. I mean, I'm sure that's something we'll be doing to some extent while we're training them, of course, but maybe in your wrap-up quiz and everything is get some feedback on how the training went, if there was anything that needs improvement, you know, even going by specific modules or the subjects, like, you know, how was the citizen builder training? You know, what do you think of that?
Okay.
What do you think? Would that be something that you could implement in your questioning, or is it?
Of course, I think All right. Now, I hate to be creating more stuff here, but
yeah.
Do we need to maybe create a survey sheet or some form to have them fill out? Summary of. I'll just ask. I'll just ask if there's any area. I'll just ask.
You know,
Okay.
be nice to them so you don't be so intimidating.
Yeah.
You are the state director. You can be pretty intimidating. I don't want to tell you that your training sucked.
It's not his
What
training.
are you
Our
talking?
training.
Dale, just see, did you see anything that sucked in your training? Sorry.
Okay.
How did you like George? Did he do a good job?
I like your idea of just keeping it simple, you know. And
Chris, I'll tell you, when we do that organizational chart, I have some input for you on that.
Okay.
It was good knowing you, George.
Yeah, does it involve spanking?
Huh?
Does it involve spanking?
No, you'd love that, wouldn't you?
I got a question if we're wrapping this up. We talked about having all of these links and stuff available to the trainees, right? So are they going to have access to this outline where all these links are at and stuff?
No. Hadn't planned on it. Should we?
We are going to give them access to the links and stuff, right? So do I need to, like, develop a separate sheet that'll just be, like, links? I have something like that going in the one of the sheets in the tracking spreadsheet.
Yeah, I saw that, George. I like that idea about having everything, you know, a resource file that's got everything that somebody needs.
Yeah, that's definitely a work in progress right now, but I'm kind of, as I run into them, I'm kind of throwing them in there. So.
Okay, where is that information now?
In the spreadsheet that has the tracking on it.
Yeah, there's a separate tab in there next to it. It says links down at the very bottom.
Well, I don't
right
see
next
it.
to where it says training tracking all the way down. It's not on the sheet itself. It's a separate.
And the menu bar at the bottom, Dale.
Yeah, down at the menu. See
Oh,
where it says, yeah, there you go.
Well, but see, the trainee won't have access to this.
Yeah, well,
Right. That's what George was saying. Is we probably need to bring all that out into something else.
Yeah.
I guess that's a good idea. It would be nice to have a document where all the links for all the modules, all the links would be together.
And they can be organized by module too, and subject. So that it looks nice and neat and all that. I'd be happy to. I get fed links and everything. I'd be happy to start putting that together.
Okay, wonderful.
All right, I'm cool with that.
I mean, I think that's something that should be presented to them in Module 1.
Okay.
But Chris, if you could,
I'm all for giving them, as many tools as possible right from the get-go. Like free conference call, and Slack, because those are our two primary communication tools. So
right.
And it helps them out too. If they have a question, they can use Slack to get hold of somebody. And
great, thank you, George. Yeah, you did some nice work on that, getting the links together, and
Well, probably.
They should be tested, because like some that I got from Dale that came from Rachel are old and don't apply anymore, or they're outdated, or whatever.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about that too after when we were talking about it before, of actually having a thing on there to report dead links.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good idea. Yeah. Okay. Well, George, I see we were going to kick this off on March 1, and of course you've already kicked it off, haven't you?
Well, like I told you in my reply to you, I said I forgot. Yeah, well, Paul doesn't do any better. He's got one scheduled for Tuesday. You didn't yell at him.
Well, no, Paul's a good guy.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm glad you don't sit in on these training modules. I get to talk about it. Give everybody a warning right on the get-go. Now you're going to be running into Dale Parrish. He's our state director.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, Ken's not on with us tonight. One other thing. How many Ben Shapiro petition signed do we have?
There are 360 sitting in there right now that need to be sent the initial mail. I checked that just before we came on here, about an hour before, and there were 360. You don't see them at all if you don't have that enabled. I thought they would show up, even if it was disabled, enabled or not. I thought they would show up, but that enable button keeps them entirely segregated from all other signers.
Now, are you telling me we have? Are you saying we have a total of 360 in the follow-up tool, or we have 360 Shapiro? Really?
Yep. And that's good. I didn't have any yesterday.
I was going to say you had like 8 the last time I heard.
That I've processed already. Yeah. But there's 360 that need processed right now.
And our policy was going to be, am I correct, that we would do a phone call and then a follow-up email? Are you doing a phone call on all these?
I've called a couple, but no, I thought we were doing an email and then one text.
No.
Well, I thought the text was counting as the phone call, wasn't it? I thought that was, the whole idea with millennials is texting them because they respond to the texts.
Well, what National put out as the ideal program to handle these millennials coming from Shapiro was you do a phone call, and if you didn't make contact with them, then you did a series of 4 texts.
Right.
And I just thought that was too much. So
360 phone calls is going to suck, especially if I'm getting like a few hundred a day.
I would agree with you. So
Can we break these up into regions or something, or?
Hey. Well, I think that's just way too much to expect to track all these people with 4 different text messages, and I just think that's too much.
I would think 1 text message would be sufficient. And wasn't that bannered about just?
Yeah.
Didn't Rodney bring that up or something?
What do you say? 1 text message and then a follow-up email? Is that what you were suggesting?
And no phone calls?
Right.
Yeah, I think a text message would count as a phone call.
Okay, let's do that. 1
Okay.
text message and then a follow-up email.
Yeah, well, I'll probably send the email first, and then that'll throw them in process. I won't complete them. I'll just send the email, and that'll throw them into in process, and then I'll send emails or text messages from the in process people, and then mark them as complete.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. Are any of those 360? Do you know any of them volunteers?
I haven't checked that far.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So we are talking about contacting them all, right? I mean,
Yeah.
texting all of them.
Right.
Okay.
All the Shapiro ones.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll get with Ken and go over this with him. So, anybody have any questions or comments?
I'm going to try and contact. I'm not sure. I got to work a bunch this weekend, but I'm going to be doing some recording and getting everything set up. Go through all my assets here to get ready, and then I'm going to start trying to schedule 4 if I can. And if I can't, I'll just do like 1 and 3 or 2 and 2 or whatever I can get done.
Yeah, I got people itching to get going.
George, have you made contact with everyone on the training tracking?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and the 4 that were, that have been held up, they're kind of itchy to get going.
I'm sure they are. Well, Chris, I don't know. I guess when we talked about having more than 1 person in a training session, I didn't have in mind 4, but maybe it can be done. I don't know. You'll just have to try it.
Yeah, I mean, I've trained as many as 20 people on a single training session and go to meeting and.
Oh, really?
And a couple other things. So that's not a big deal. Matter of fact, there's some kind of synergy sometimes from doing it that way, in the fact that as long as you don't have too many people like that, that was more just me, teaching people. But this right here could be with just a small group, like 2, 3, or 4. People can ask a question. And the other, say the other 3 in a session of 4 may not have thought of that question, but it'll help them. So they kind of feed off each other.
Will this be like a hands-on thing? Like when you talk to them about Slack, are you going to have them go on Slack at the time you're doing this?
We'll be doing screen sharing, so
okay.
It depends on their comfort level with too many things happening on the screen. But yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah, remember they need to be invited into Slack. So
yeah. Speaking of that, I don't know. I'll have to check, but I don't know that I've got the credentials to invite them or not?
I don't think so. You have to have me invite them.
Okay.
I don't know. It lets me invite people.
Huh?
It lets me invite people.
It does let you?
Yeah.
Okay.
All I got to do is go into Slack, Chris, and then open up that menu, where preferences are and all that kind of stuff on the left.
Uh-huh.
And there'll be a spot in there to, invite people if you're able to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, if otherwise George can do it, yeah. Okay. I just in your module, Chris, I'm just concerned about people that have different computer skills, different levels.
Right.
And I'm sure you've probably encountered this too, I will say, though, it seems like anymore our applicants are generally pretty computer savvy for the most part. But you'll probably still have someone that have very, very low computer skills.
Yeah, I understand that. Try and be very clear about what I'm talking about, where to click and with keywords like the button and
right.
kind of little things like that. So
okay, all right, just be aware of that.
Hey, Chris, Vicki Mooring, she's only working from a tablet right now. She has a laptop, but she needs to get it revamped. She said today that she's going to be taking care of that, but she's going to be a weak link in that part of it.
That's good to know.
We did get her in free conference call today, though.
Okay. I'm going to say it may be wise to put her in a separate session and then the other three, if possible, in another one. But excuse me.
Okay.
So we'll get it figured out.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, guys. I guess that's it for tonight. That's a wrap. So thank you all for your contribution here to putting this together. I think we got a good program here. We just got to, run through it a time or two and kind of work out the bugs, but that's expected.
Yep, agreed.
Hey, yeah. Dale, where'd you get your backdrop?
Isn't that sweet? I love it.
Yeah, I love that.
See?
Yeah.
I ordered that off of Amazon, as a matter of fact.
That's a shower curtain, isn't it?
It is. Yes, it is. There's a shower on the other side of it, yeah.
Dale runs a clean shop.
We thought you were
and you notice that the shower curtain for me, so it's very wide. It's extremely wide.
Oh, gee.
End up saying we the P.
This is just a piece of fabric. Hanging from a frame.
Nice.
Yeah, it looks good. It really
all
does.
sorts of stuff.
Oh, I got one more comment if you guys don't care, and I know everybody's itching to get going and enjoy their weekend stuff, but I got some young programmers we hired recently, and we all work like a really close team. Like I can, throw a paper wad across the cube thing and hit one of the other people. Anyway, these young guys that they're in their early 20s. And they have a programming question for me. They won't come over and ask me. They'll send me a Skype message or a thing. We use Microsoft Teams, which has kind of got a chat thing built in. They'll do that more than they will, walking across or just hollering at me. And I guess that's we were discussing kind of the mindset of some of these millennials and stuff.
Yeah.
And, that's really a kind of a big factor, really, is how these young people communicate these days. It's different from us old folks.
That's an interesting example. right.
Yeah, that's exactly why on the Ben Shapiro people, they want us to follow up with texts because most of them are younger and that's how they communicate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Babies born this day have a smartphone in their hand, you know.
Well, if they survive birth.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh,
Amen to that. I know so many people that are thoroughly disgusted with that, man.
Yeah.
But all they're doing is bitching. They're not getting hold of anybody to complain about it or nothing. They're just bitching.
I think it's just very sad, very sad. All right, guys. That's it for tonight. Thank you very much. Like I said, we'll get this going, and let's stay with it, and hopefully we'll have a bunch of trainees to come through here. So
sweet.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Dale. Thanks, Paul, Gary, George.
All righty. Take care,
Good night, everyone. Good night.
Stay warm.